I just told somebody my routine the other day, and she's like, what? She's like, I wonder how you do all these podcasts. I see you on YouTube and TikTok, and you're spending time with your family, and you're trying to be present with your kid. Like, she's like, and you run a company? She's like, what the fuck? She's like, your nervous system must be shot. And I'm like, well, I've never thought about it like that, but yeah. Have you ever had those days where you just didn't want to get out of bed? It's February. It's cold outside. Just feel empty. And that's how I felt this morning waking up. When I woke up this morning, it was freezing. The bed was warm. Sleep sounded nice. I could hear my child on the monitor. My wife was still asleep. And my first thought was, I don't want to go and run this company that I have to run. As soon as I get out of bed, I know the timer starts, and I am now on everybody else's time. As soon as my feet touch this ground, I know that I work for everybody else. I work for my wife, my daughter, my daughters, and my business and my employees, my dog, my cats. As soon as I leave this safety net of my bed, my day begins. And it doesn't end until I'm back in here. And the weight of that, the debt I'm in, the financial burden that I've risked, assets that I own to leverage into this business, it's a lot. And I made a choice today to get up. And I find that I've been making a lot of choices to wake up recently. And I told myself today, you're going to get up, you're going to fucking face the day, you're going to put your clothes on, and you're going to get your ass to work on time because you have people that rely on you, and you matter to them. You may not matter to yourself right now. You may not want to get up and do the things you don't want to do, and you may hate it. You may hate yourself for doing it, for not living this dream of podcasting and acting and media and art, and there's so many things I could rather be doing, but that's not who I am as a man. I've got to provide for my family. So I said, you know what, Alex, that's enough for today. You get up, you show up to work, you do the thing that you don't want to do, and you respect that. You look that in the eye. So I got out of bed. I was 15, 20 minutes to get dressed and get off to work and feed the dog, give him his Prozac, say goodbye to my wife and daughter, and hit the road. I knew I probably wouldn't even have time to, if my daughter was up, I could say goodbye to her, but most mornings before work, if I got to get there on time, she's still in sleep while mom's getting ready to take her to school, and that's fine. This morning, my wife asked, honey, can you take the kids to school? And I just looked at her. I said, no, baby, I got to get to work on time. She's like, I get it. That's fine. So I got to work on time, ended up being in a great mood for getting there on time. I was proud of myself for getting there at 8:30. And I own the company, so I could get there technically whenever I want. But most of the sales relies upon me to come in, produce, and lift the team and, be there. Be consistent. So I got to work and I was so proud of myself for doing that. I'm like, damn, this is actually not easy. One of the hardest things I've experienced as a boss is having this limitless choice of, I don't need to go to work today, or I could go in at 9:30. I could go in at 10. I'm the boss. I don't need to. And wrestling with the idea of getting to work on time and doing it consistently, it grew appreciation for what my staff goes through, what I used to go through, and just doing the little things every day and showing up, and how hard the little things are to do. And I was able to get in there, do my sales job, make 30, 40 calls before 9:30 a.m. I'd already made about 45 cold calls. So the majority of my work, my log, was lifted. So then I was in a great mood to do that. I got to the gym at 11:30, 12, worked out till 12:45, got right back to the office, had lunch, and I still had half the day left to work on sales. And my day was so productive and so successful. But if I had never made that step to get out of bed and just get my ass there when I felt like shit, when I felt upset, when I felt the world on top of me. I talked about it today, but it's not fucking fair. And your suffering isn't different. Your suffering is not special, but you are. How you respond to your pain is special. How you show up when you don't fucking feel like showing up, that deserves a fucking medal. And I don't care. I gave one to myself today. And I was so proud of me for showing up for everybody in my life. And that is all I needed to feel happy about today. And it's carried me all day. I don't know if it was low expectations, like, okay, this is such shit. I feel like such shit. Anything I do is a win. But can you imagine the difference if I didn't fight, if I didn't get out of bed and go to work and, do this job and come home and I had time to podcast tonight. I had time to do this thing I love. For those of you who don't know me, I have another podcast called Visitor Parking. It's started off as a life comedy podcast, turned into a sports podcast because I'm really good at talking about sports, I guess. So I was able to get like thousands of followers talking about sports. And I've realized that there's so much inside of me. My typical day goes like this. 7 a.m., I wake up, just have a coffee. I never even eat. Get to say hi to my kid, my wife, see her off, try to get the house ready to go because it's, before everybody gets off to work. I get to the office at 8:30, pound out 40 or 50 cold calls by 11:30. I get to the gym from 11:45 to 12:45. I get back to the office, maybe have a quick 10-minute lunch. After that, I make cold calls from 1 p.m. until probably 3 or 4 p.m. Take a 20 or 30-minute walk from, probably 3:30 to 4:30, maybe 3:30 to 4. I'll find some spaces. It's not all in 1 hour. I'll take like a 20-minute walk, go back to the work for a little bit, take another little walk. So I split up my day. Work again for another hour. I at the office till 5:30. I come home. Commute's not bad. Commute 15 minutes home. See my kids, see my wife. Dinner time with a 2-year-old is quite special. My other daughter, I only see her every Thursday and every other weekend. So, my Monday through Wednesday routine is pretty much come home and be with the family and try to be present. Try not to be on my phone the entire time. I virtually have no time to reset in between all of these events. I go right from work to the gym, back to work, to lunch. From lunch, I go right into cold calling. After cold calling, I get a walk, but then I go right back to work. Once I leave work, I go home and it's right to the family. 7:30 comes around and we're starting bedtime. So at 7:30, my bedtime routine starts with the kids. She's all over the place. By that time, man, it's 8:30 when you're done. And, my wife's like, you want to go podcast? And I'm like, not really. I'm so tired. So I end up spending time with my wife and we'll watch a movie or a show, and 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I'll fall asleep. And then I will get back up like a psychopath and I will go down the stairs, force myself to podcast, make TikToks. I will go to bed at 1 a.m. and I will do it all over again. I've been doing this for probably probably close to 6 months now. You want to talk about burnout? I don't get burnt out, motherfucker. I just flatline. Like, I physically have gone until I'm like, I feel like withering away. I just told somebody my routine the other day, an old client of mine who's now my friend, and she's like, what? She's like, I wonder how you do all these podcasts. I see you on YouTube and TikTok, and you're spending time with your family, and you're trying to be present with your kid. Like, she's like, and you run a company? She's like, what the fuck? She's like, your nervous system must be shot. And I'm like, well, I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, it's gotten to the point where like, I don't even enjoy waking up some days because that routine I've built is not fucking sustainable. But here's the thing, kids. I don't love my job like that. I love TikToking. I love podcasting. I love creating something that people enjoy. I'm great at sales. I'm great at that. I'm great at getting clients. I'm great at building people up. And my personality, my battery just never shuts off. So when I come home, I've already talked to people for 2 hours a day on the phone, strangers, some of them, and then my staff. When I get home, I want to podcast. I want me time. I want to do my creative outlets. I want to write. I want to act on TikTok. I want to, do the, there's so much of me that I had to kill to make a living that this part of me has started to come out. And it's like, I can't put it back in the box. I thought about quitting TikTok the other day. I thought about quitting podcasting. And I said, no, motherfucker, like, I love this shit. But I had to find a balance because that schedule that I just described, that's dynamite. That's a heart attack. That's a stroke. Like, I can't, like, I've given up drinking for the most part. I don't drink liquor anymore, and I barely drink. I drink maybe once or twice, every other week. Have a couple beers now, but I know there's a way out of my staffing business. Once I climb out of this mountain of debt that I'm in, I know there's a path for me here. So I'm going to do what I do every fucking day, and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get those 2 feet out of bed and I'm going to march my fucking ass off, motherfucker, because if you want something in life, you've got to work for it. And I'm starting to see that I've got to be proud of just getting up sometimes, just showing up, just getting on and doing what I can for podcasting, getting up and doing my job and leading the company. Like, these are not defeats. This is not me being a loser. This is not all this negative talk that I fill myself with. This is shit like that nobody else has what I have. Nobody else has this drive, and I've got to rise and accept me for who I am. And I'm a highly driven person. I can stay up and outlast pretty much anybody and anything I do. And I've got to learn how to turn it off. I cannot podcast every day. I cannot YouTube every day. I cannot TikTok every day. I cannot jam it all in. So last night when I came home from work, I said, I'm not TikToking. I'm not YouTubing. I'm not planning a podcast. I'm not deadlining myself with all these hobbies that I want to make money one day. I'm just done. I just watched TV with my wife, sat down with her, and I just kind of gave in. I stopped. And I said, am I going to quit TikTok? Am I going to quit podcasting? Fuck no, I'm not. But I need to come up with a healthy balance. So I'm figuring out that most people need to speed up. Most of you listening probably need to be doing a little bit more than you are. But if you're like me, and I hope you are, you probably got to do less. You've got to just maybe figure out a schedule. So my mission for the next time we talk is I'm going to have a plan. I listen to Mel Robbins. I listen to Tony Robbins, unrelated, I think. I've listened to all these self-help books, Brene Brown, and I'm reading a book on Buddhism. I need to map out a schedule, my life and my day to fit in what I love, but not have it run my life like it's doing. So if you guys are going through something similar, I just want you to know it's okay. And I get the paradox of doing what you love, you'll never work a day, but doing what you love makes you no money. So I'm right there with you, brother. This 6,000-foot house, this $2 million business, this income that I need, like, it's not really going anywhere. So there is a limit to what I'm allowed to do, and I'm accepting that limit. But I have to be strategic, and I've got to find a way out. And you're going to find it with me. This was the happiest day I've had, and I think it's because I got sleep. I didn't stretch myself so thin with podcasting. I stopped jobifying my hobbies for a minute to where I'm just enjoying it now. I have wanted to build this podcast for so long. I've been so afraid to divert my brand. Like I fucking have a brand. But I love you all, man. I really do. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to this first episode. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope you know that this thing that you're trying to lift, this weight, this goal that you have, the only person it's crushing is you. So the only person that you owe it to lift this fucking log off you and push this boulder up that hill is you, motherfucker. Because nobody's coming to help you because it's not their burden. It's yours. So find your one win in this next week before we come back. I want you to find your win, whether it's getting out of bed or going to your job or staying consistent. I want you to find your win, be happy about it, and just let that be enough because you are enough. And I love you, big guy or big girl, whatever. Anyway, Alex hates you all. Thank you for listening. Episode 1. You want to talk about burnout? I don't get burnt out, motherfucker.